Welcome back to another Sleepy Steve story. Before we drift off tonight, remember to subscribe to help Steve-O out, and I will keep making more sleepy stories to help you study gently, revise quietly, and settle your mind at the end of the day. Settle yourself in now, and let the day begin to loosen its grip. Tonight, we are moving into VCE Economics, Unit 3, Area of Study 2, and we are setting our coordinates for Australia's domestic macroeconomic goals. That phrase sounds formal at first, domestic macroeconomic goals, but we can make it gentle and clear. Domestic means inside Australia. Macro means the whole economy, not just one market or one business. And goals are the broad aims that economic policymakers want the economy to move towards, because those goals shape employment, prices, incomes, production, confidence, and living standards. So tonight, we are not looking at one market like the market for coffee or housing or petrol. We are stepping back and looking at the whole Australian economy from a higher window. We are looking at how the economy grows, how prices move, how many people are able to find work, and how these things affect the real lives of households, businesses, and communities. Take a slow breath in and let it out. Imagine a quiet Australian city after dark. Office lights are switching off one by one. Trains move gently through the evening. A supermarket manager counts the last sales of the day. A builder looks over tomorrow's schedule. A student checks the price of groceries. A nurse finishes a shift. A small business owner wonders whether customers will keep spending next month. All of these little scenes are connected to the big macroeconomic goals. In economics, the three major domestic macroeconomic goals are strong and sustainable economic growth, low and stable inflation, and full employment. These goals are not just abstract phrases on a page. They are ways of describing whether the economy is producing enough, whether prices are reasonably stable, and whether people who want work can find it. Let us start with strong and sustainable economic growth. Economic growth means an increase in the real value of goods and services produced in an economy over time. The usual measure is real gross domestic product, or real GDP. GDP is the total market value of final goods and services produced within Australia over a period of time. And when we say real GDP, we mean that the figure has been adjusted for inflation, so we are measuring an actual increase in output rather than just an increase in prices. That is an important distinction. If a bakery sells the same number of loaves as last year, but every loaf costs more because prices have risen, the dollar value of sales might rise. But the bakery has not truly produced more bread. In the same way, the economy can appear larger in dollar terms simply because prices have increased. Real GDP tries to remove that price effect, so we can focus more clearly on changes in production. Strong economic growth matters because when the economy produces more goods and services, businesses often earn more revenue, workers may have more employment opportunities, incomes can rise, and governments may collect more tax revenue to fund services such as health, education, transport, and community support. In that way, strong growth can improve material living standards, because people may have greater access to goods and services. But the word sustainable matters just as much as the word strong. Sustainable economic growth means growth that can continue over time without creating major problems for the future. Growth should not simply be a short burst caused by excessive spending, overheated demand, environmental damage, or household debt that cannot be maintained. It should be growth supported by productivity, investment, skills, technology, innovation, and efficient use of resources. In an exam, you would not just say that growth is good. You would explain that growth can improve material living standards by increasing incomes, employment, and access to goods and services. Then you would also evaluate whether the growth is sustainable. Does it create inflationary pressure? Does it damage the environment? Does it rely too heavily on one export industry? Does it improve living standards for most people, or only for some groups? Now, let us turn gently to the second goal: low and stable inflation. Inflation is a sustained increase in the general level of prices over time. It does not mean one item becomes more expensive for a week. It means prices across the economy are rising in a broader and more persistent way. In Australia, inflation is commonly measured using the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which tracks the price of a basket of goods and services purchased by households. Picture that basket quietly. It contains many ordinary things: food, housing costs, transport, electricity, health, education, clothing, recreation, and other items that households purchase. When the overall cost of that basket rises, the CPI increases, and that indicates inflation. Low and stable inflation is important because it protects purchasing power and gives people confidence. If prices are rising too quickly, then a dollar buys less than it used to. Households may find that wages do not stretch as far. Savings may lose value in real terms. Businesses may find it harder to plan because costs and prices are changing quickly. Workers may demand higher wages to keep up, and businesses may raise prices again to cover those higher costs. High inflation can create uncertainty, and uncertainty can reduce investment, confidence, and living standards. But inflation that is too low can also be a concern. Very low inflation, or deflation, may suggest weak demand. If prices are falling, households might delay spending because they expect goods and services to be cheaper later. Businesses may reduce production, profits may fall, and unemployment may rise. So the goal is not simply zero inflation. The goal is low and stable inflation, where prices rise at a manageable pace and the economy can function with confidence. For VCE economics, you should be able to explain the causes and effects of inflation. Demand inflation can occur when aggregate demand grows faster than aggregate supply, so too much spending chases too few goods and services. Cost inflation can occur when production costs rise, such as wages, fuel, electricity, imported inputs, or interest costs, and businesses pass those higher costs on to consumers. Imported inflation can occur when overseas goods, global oil prices, or exchange rate movements raise the price of imports. Now take another slow breath. Let the terms settle gently. Inflation, CPI, purchasing power, confidence, aggregate demand, aggregate supply. The third goal is full employment. Full employment does not mean every single person has a job. There will always be some people between jobs, changing industries, studying, caring, moving house, or searching for a better match. Full employment means that all people who are willing and able to work at current wage rates can find work within a reasonable time, allowing for normal movement within the labor market. The main headline measure is the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate measures the percentage of the labor force that is unemployed. The labor force includes people who are employed and people who are unemployed but actively seeking work. It does not include people outside the labor force, such as some full-time students, retirees, carers, or discouraged workers who have stopped looking for work. This is where students sometimes make a common mistake. A fall in the unemployment rate does not always mean everything in the labor market has improved. You also need to consider underemployment, participation, and the quality of jobs. Underemployment occurs when people have work but want more hours. A person may be counted as employed even if they are only working a few hours a week. So, underemployment helps us see hidden weakness in the labor market. The participation rate measures the proportion of the working age population that is either employed or actively seeking work. If unemployment falls because people give up looking for work, that is not the same as unemployment falling because many new jobs have been created. Full employment matters deeply for living standards. Employment gives people income, skills, purpose, social connection, and greater financial security. When unemployment is high, material living standards often fall because people have less income to buy goods and services. Non-material living standards can also suffer because unemployment can increase stress, reduce self-esteem, and weaken community well-being. For businesses, high unemployment can reduce sales because households have less income to spend. For governments, high unemployment can reduce income tax revenue and increase welfare payments. For the economy overall, unemployment means that labor resources are not being fully used, so the economy may produce below its potential. Now, we can bring the three goals together. Strong and sustainable economic growth, low and stable inflation, and full employment are connected. They do not sit in separate rooms. They move together through the economy like slow currents. When aggregate demand increases, businesses may sell more goods and services, increase production, and hire more workers. This can support economic growth and reduce unemployment. But if aggregate demand grows too strongly and the economy is close to capacity, it can also create inflationary pressure. Businesses may raise prices because demand is strong. Workers may ask for higher wages, and shortages of labor or materials may push costs up. That is a classic macroeconomic tension. Faster growth can help employment, but if it becomes excessive, it can threaten price stability. On the other hand, if aggregate demand is too weak, inflation may fall, but unemployment may rise and economic growth may slow. Households spend less, businesses invest less, production falls, and workers may lose hours or jobs. Price stability might look better for a while, but living standards can still decline if people are out of work or incomes are weak. In an exam, this is where evaluation becomes important. You might be asked to evaluate the extent to which Australia has achieved its domestic macroeconomic goals. A strong answer would not treat the goals separately without connection. It would consider growth, inflation, and employment together, and then link each one to living standards. Living standards are the well-being of individuals, groups, and society. Material living standards refer to access to goods and services, income, wealth, and economic resources. Non-material living standards refer to quality of life factors that are harder to measure in dollars, such as health, education, leisure time, environmental quality, social connection, stress levels, safety, and life satisfaction. Economic growth can improve material living standards if it increases income and employment. But if growth creates pollution, long working hours, housing pressure, or inequality, the improvement in non-material living standards may be less clear. Low inflation can protect purchasing power and confidence, but if inflation is low because demand is weak and unemployment is rising, households may still be worse off. Full employment can improve income and well-being, but if jobs are insecure, low-paid, or stressful, the impact on living standards needs to be evaluated carefully. So, the sleepy but serious lesson is this. In economics, you must connect the indicator to the goal, and the goal to living standards. GDP growth connects to strong and sustainable economic growth. The CPI connects to low and stable inflation. The unemployment rate connects to full employment. But those indicators are not the whole story. They are signals. They help economists read the economy, like instruments on a quiet dashboard. A wise economist checks more than one instrument before making a judgment. Now let us walk through how you might structure an exam-style response. If the question asks about strong and sustainable economic growth, begin by defining it. Then identify the indicator, usually real GDP growth. Then explain what might cause growth to rise or fall: consumer confidence, business investment, government spending, net exports, productivity, interest rates, global economic conditions, commodity prices, population growth, and technology. Then evaluate the effect on living standards, considering both benefits and possible costs. If the question asks about inflation, define inflation as a sustained increase in the general price level. Identify the CPI as the main measure. Then discuss causes such as demand pressures, supply shocks, wage growth, import prices, exchange rate movements, or energy costs. Then explain how inflation affects living standards through purchasing power, business confidence, savings, interest rates, and uncertainty. If the question asks about employment, define full employment carefully. Identify the unemployment rate as a key indicator, but then add that underemployment and participation also matter. Discuss causes of changes in unemployment, such as economic growth, business confidence, labor costs, productivity, technology, migration, education and training, and industry change. Then explain the effects on living standards through income, skills, mental health, community connection, and government budgets. And when the question asks for evaluation, do not simply list. Make a judgment. Use phrases like, to a significant extent, to a limited extent, in the short term, in the long term, for some groups more than others, or while this may improve material living standards, it may create pressure on non-material living standards. That is the language of VCE economics. Calm, precise, and balanced. Let us return one more time to our quiet evening city. The trains are still moving. The supermarket is closed now. The builder's plans rest on the kitchen table. The nurse is home. The student has put the groceries away. The small business owner has checked tomorrow's orders and turned off the light. Behind all of those ordinary lives sit the macroeconomic goals. Strong and sustainable growth helps the economy produce more and create opportunities. Low and stable inflation helps households and businesses plan with confidence. Full employment helps people earn income, use their skills, and participate in society. None of the goals is perfect on its own. None of the indicators tells the whole story, but together they help economists understand the condition of the economy and the well-being of the people living within it. So tonight, let the three goals settle in your mind like three steady lights: growth, price stability, employment, and beneath them, always, living standards. That is the center of this episode. Australia's domestic macroeconomic goals are not just about numbers on a graph. They are about whether the economy is working well enough to support people's lives, choices, security, and opportunities. So take one last slow breath in and let it out. You have now walked gently through strong and sustainable economic growth, low and stable inflation, full employment, the indicators used to measure them, and the way each goal connects to material and non-material living standards. Sleepy Steve wishes you a great sleep. Don't study too hard. Subscribe for more sleepy stories.